Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas. It is that time of year. Thanksgiving is now behind us. And hey, while you're at it with your shopping list, at least you have canceled your plans to watch Canceled, the canceled podcast show that hopefully doesn't get canceled, but we do talk about canceled TV shows, unfortunately. I'm Zach.
I'm Miles.
And today we are going to be talking about a canceled spin-off show called Aftermash, which have you ever heard of MASH before?
The only times I've ever heard of MASH is when I went to my grandmother's and it was on her busted TV.
Busted TV.
And I was like, that looks cool. Why is it initials? And I was like, okay. And then I think she put it on one time and then I switched it to Danny Phantom and that was it. Never was watched an episode. So tell me all about it.
So the general basis of it is that it's supposed to be about these doctors in the Korean War at a MASH unit, which basically which MASH stands for Mobile Army Surgical Hospital, which supposedly, but yeah, so like at a moment's notice, if they need to, they could pack up all their stuff right out of the battle zone.
Oh, okay. Never heard of that. That'd be kind of...
Yeah, there's a couple episodes where they move. The Bug Out's a good one.
Ooh.
And then the finale.
Okay. How long did this run?
The show itself, the original one, it ran from 1972 until 1983.
Long time.
The war only lasted 3 years.
Yeah.
They could make the show run 11.
They just kept producing.
They're just like, let's make the war continue.
It's making us money. And they just kept going. It's like a railroad.
Well, I mean, like, with a TV show that popular and bringing families together, like, I mean, you'd expect it to, like, run for so long.
Yeah. So, like, what was the rating on this show? Because it has war in it. Was it like a R-rated show or was it like a PG-13 type of show?
I'd say probably some episode. It really, depending on how you feel, it's like maybe PG, but in some circumstances, some PG-13 content.
Okay.
But mostly, like, it's supposed to really be like, at the beginning, it was going to be a comedy, but like towards the end seasons, like seasons 8, 9, 10, 11, like you could see that the laugh track starts to fade out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, hey, you got to admit they put in some pretty good jokes in there.
So, like, what was your childhood growing up? Because obviously you watched After MASH. So, like, what time did it come on? Was it like an early morning show or was it like a late TV show?
Okay, so back in 1983 when MASH ended, they started some spin-offs.
Okay.
So like you had Walter, Trapper John MD, and Aftermash, which Aftermash was a little more successful than Walter because like Walter only had a pilot.
Yeah.
In which it would come on at like primetime television.
Okay.
And then eventually they became rivals with the A-Team. In fact, there's a promotional thing where they have Klinger.
Okay. That's actually a pretty good
For
joke.
those watching, yeah.
So I remember hearing, I mean, my grandmother loved the A-Team. Like, every time we get in a car and we were trying to do something, she would say the iconic catchphrase, I love it when a plan comes together. And just, we'd go driving. But it actually in Rome, have you ever been by the Brave Stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the warehouses or over there, there's a thing that says A-Team. And I always look at it and I'm like, I always remember my grandma. But... yeah, I didn't know that. I thought they were all kind of in like the same little thing, like the war-based stuff.
Yeah. With the A-Team, really, it kind of still is war a little bit, but like they're out, but they're war criminals.
Okay.
Supposed to be, so they're being hunted down by Colonel Lynch and Colonel Decker.
I see.
I just watched a couple episodes the other day, so.
Yeah, the war criminal on the run thing reminds me of Rambo, but Rambo wasn't really a war criminal. But that'd be a good thing. How long did it or how many episodes did it have? Because obviously you said it had 11 seasons.
With the original show, it had over 100. But with Aftermash, they only produced like 2 seasons, and the second one wasn't even finished.
That is, I mean, that's a lot of episodes already. 100 episodes.
Honestly, I would say that if they they had Frank Burns come in and one day in one random episode, and then just have Colonel Potter outright go, "Nice to see you again, Ferret Face. You would have had a perfect thing."
Seems like this is pretty interesting. Seems like a little good show. So, why exactly was it canceled?
So, ratings were going up because, like, MASH just ended. And this is now bringing in Potter, Klinger, and Mulcahy back together again.
Yeah.
And so, like, their ratings started shooting up, but then back down.
Yeah, happens to a lot of shows, especially the ones on cancel. And so it's like, a lot of the canceled shows, it's really not for the main reasons you think of. It's just because the audience is getting a little tired of it.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing over and over again. The only show I know about that hasn't done that is shows that reintroduce new stuff. Now, did Aftermath have any new stuff, or was it just the same cast of characters, same thing every time?
It was like with which one? Aftermath or
Aftermath.
Aftermath? From what I've seen so far, it's just like kind of almost like MASH, like same setting, just there's a different thing going on. But like you do have like 3 characters. Radar comes in every now and then, so like a plot may change to where something happens. Like one episode, Radar's supposed to get married, and or something happens, and he goes immediately to Potter's house.
Seems like a very exciting thriller time. Did any of the, since, obviously it's about war, any of the main cast characters die or anything?
No, not necessarily, but Frank was taken off. He, something happened with him. Like in the movie, you could see him getting pulled off in a straitjacket, but in the TV show, he ends up getting promoted. And with Blake died. Colonel Blake did die in season 3. He was the original colonel from seasons 1 to 3, and the finale for season 3, Abnesia Henry, or however you say it, he gets on to an airplane. He goes home, and his plane crashes.
Oof.
So he dies going home. So it's one of those moments. It's one of those episodes.
Yeah, one of those unforgettable episodes.
And Radar, his Uncle Ed dies, and so he gets shipped back to the States. So he's out of the war.
Okay.
And then we, what else was it? What? There were a few secondary characters that did die. Mm-hmm. But, like, those are, like...
Yeah, just the kind of throwaways.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it had a movie.
Yes.
Was that like was it like a special TV episode, or was it like a full-on
It was a
movie?
full-on production.
Whoa.
But that came out in 1970 before the show.
So, like, in the general consensus from start to finish, especially with all the movies and all that stuff, did it, like, how well was it respected by the people? Like, was it beloved, or was it like just a show you could watch sometimes?
It was beloved.
Okay.
Honestly.
That's good. I'm glad it was beloved. It sounds like a very interesting show.
Well, I need to go get something real quick, but...
Yeah, go ahead.
But, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. So, we have an advertisement. I will read it now. It's thank you from our sponsors, Warehouse Creations. Looking for unique and captivating pottery or home decor? Look no further than Warehouse Creations. This husband and wife team of potters, Bill and Jenny Ware, create a stunning body of work that blends traditional perfection of the weird and the wonky. Their complementary styles create a visually interesting and captivating collection that engages the viewer and evokes a sense of emotion. Whether you're looking for just a functional piece, a statement piece, or just something to complement your existing decor, Warehouse Creations has you covered. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to see their latest creations and let them fill your pottery or home decor needs today. And it seems our host is back.
They didn't have pizza, so
Yeah, well,
gave up.
you gotta accept it by then.
Yep.
So, did Aftermash have any merch? Any toy lines?
No, but MASH did.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that. Tell me about that.
You had action figures. When lunchboxes, they used to be metal.
Oh, yeah, I remember
yeah,
those.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they had lunchboxes, action figures, toys for the original MASH. After MASH, not really.
Yeah.
Or not that I've seen.
Usually spin-offs don't really have that sense of like just grasp. So running out of things to ask about MASH. I've already asked everything about book. Let's see.
I can tell you that with the original show, like you could tell the last episode, everyone is connected there together.
Yeah.
So like everyone was connected to some way.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? Take for example, the one where Blake dies. Like nobody told them what was going to happen, so like their reactions were genuine.
Ooh. Those are always my favorite when you don't tell what happens.
Yeah.
So they're oomph. So you mentioned the finale. The only finales I've really seen in TV are like shows I used to watch with my family, like The Middle or How I Met Your Mother or Big Bang Theory or stuff like that. So how was the ending like? Did they just get shipped off all the way back to home, or was it like a climactic finale?
Okay, so the ending is spectacular. For the original MASH, really what happened is that what they did was make it kind of like a TV movie. So instead of a 30-minute episode, they did like a 2-hour long one for the original MASH. And that so far has been the highest watched finale ever.
Like of TV?
Yes.
Wow, that is insane.
And I mean, you could see it. Like the plot, they like leading up to the war's end, and then eventually everyone being able to go back home.
Yeah. So, was MASH created as like just the way to like cope with the war, or was it like a promotional piece? Was it like just something you could talk about?
It was probably something that Fox just decided, hey, let's make a TV show out of this.
Makes sense. A lot of war shows are like that.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Yeah.
Just seeing what they're doing back there. So, the mobile unit, like,
Yes.
was it like, all I'm thinking in my mind, it's just like a giant robot just like tramping over the battlefields and being like, do you need help?
No. So they had helicopters that would come in, pick up wounded, drop them off back at the hospital.
Okay.
And so like what I said with the bug out episode, when say the enemy's coming your way, then you just pack up all the tents, everything, get everything, every bed, every patient, every tent,
It's everything.
yeah, and then just leave.
I see. That reminds me of my great-grandfather. He was a medic in the war, so he had experience there. I never really met him, but I remember my grandma telling me stories about how he used to, when he came back home, he used to tell her stories, and he was just like, yeah, like we literally had to pack everything up. It felt like you were moving houses every 5 minutes. And then I think my grandma was watching MASH one day. She told me, she was just like, yeah, that's how your great-grandfather did it. And I was like, cool. And I just never thought of that ever again until just now. But, I mean, it seems like that was it seems like it was pretty fun to, like, shoot. Obviously, being in the film department, it seems like it would be genuinely so fun to just shoot, like, moving.
Yeah, and like they did this on location. They found a good location, California, filmed it. After MASH, I think was more set work.
Okay.
And plus with TV shows, like you have about a week to film them.
Yeah.
So it's not that long.
Yeah. Was MASH, like, I know Friends was a live studio audience. Was, like, MASH ever a live studio audience?
Probably not.
Okay. So it was in California, just like an open set?
Like it was an open set and some sets so like whenever you have an operating room scene, like there'd have to be a set for that.
Yeah.
And then everything else that was outdoors, yeah.
Nice. Are there any, like, accidents that happened on set?
Not that I know of, but if you want more stories, Alan Alda has a podcast called Clear and Vivid, which is more on medical stuff.
Oh, okay.
But he does have one episode where he and other members, Loretta Swit, Mike Farrell, and Gary Berghoff, and Jamie Farr, they talk about like their experience on MASH.
Oh, okay. So we
And
have some
they have some funny stories as well.
Ooh, okay.
Like I highly recommend that episode.
All right. That's definitely something to talk about. The podcast talks about another podcast. It's promotional. But, I mean, from what I've been hearing, it seems like a very interesting show. Like, I could definitely see myself trying to watch it.
And I mean, it is. MeTV has it on like every night until like 7, like starting at 7.
Oh, so it's still on?
Yeah.
It's just reruns.
Yes.
Okay.
Just reruns. TV Land. Yeah. Hulu has it, I think.
Huh. So, what would be your reaction if, let's say, one day you heard the news and it was like, hey guys, we're going to remake MASH? Because a lot of shows are being remade now. It's just remade somewhere else. Like, what would your reaction?
Take that guy and literally just rip up every single paper of script.
You wouldn't want it?
Because, like, the original cast members, like, there's not much left. There's not many left.
Yeah.
Like, most of them have already passed.
Mm-hmm.
And then for those who are still alive, like, they're pushing, like, into their 80s. So,
yeah,
like,
old age, just getting up
so
to it.
it's like 70s, 80s. So it's like if you wanted to remake MASH at this point, for me, I'm just like, don't even do it.
Well, what about new actors? Like actors that seems you wouldn't want that either.
No, because they already did that with a couple of shows. I'm not going to mention any names.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Huh. Well, it was very interesting hearing about MASH today.
Yeah.
I've gained a lot more knowledge.
Yes.
I will use that, put it to good purpose.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
look
so, yeah, this canceled episode was not really canceled, was it?
Well, the show was.
A little,
and that's how it is.
the show's gonna eventually get this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, after MASH was canceled.
After
MASH
MASH
wasn't
was
canceled. It just ran out of its contract.
Yeah.
But yeah, this show may get canceled.
Show might get canceled. So stick around, see if it does get canceled.
Yeah, stick around, please. We would like to thank you once again for canceling your plans for watching Canceled, and we would also like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stay safe, everybody. Don't do anything stupid with a firework, and we will see you next year in 2024.
Bye-bye.